Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lore, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be giving my first impressions of GL Pease Fillmore. Found this as I was continuing my search into VAPers being my favorite blend. This one is a unique blend to me because it has Latakia in it, which is something I haven't found thus far in a VAPer. So it's supposed to be one of the better ones. We'll find out. Let me read for you what the tin says. A thick sliced broken flake in the Scottish tradition. Ripe red Virginia tobaccos are combined with a generous measure of fine Louisiana Perique and then pressed to marry the components and deepen the flavors. The cakes are sliced and gently broken before tinning. Fillmore presents an elegant sweetness and delightful piquancy, enhanced by a creamy richness that develops throughout the bowl. Sit back and enjoy a lovely, leisurely smoke. I'll read for you just some of the aspects off of tobaccoreviews.com. It says that its strength is medium, flavoring there is none detected, the taste is at medium, and the room note is pleasant to tolerable. This does have Latakia in it, which is so unusual to me for a VAPer, but I'm interested to find out how it smokes. It is a broken flake. Let's pop this tin here. And see what the bouquet presents to us. Marcus is being a lazy dog, sitting off to my left hand here. Huh, Marcus? Been a lazy day. I hope everybody is having an absolutely fantastic summer. I know that I am. Sophia and I have been doing so much together. We've been doing a lot of things with April and her children. Lots of time at the pool. We've been going all over the place, hitting up the different things for families to do in Northwest Arkansas. There's museums and climbing places and trampoline parks and carnivals and just all sorts of things for us to do. So I have been absolutely just incredibly busy. That's what the excuse is for my absence. I do apologize to you, but we are having a blast, and I hope you are as well. I'm still working on that tongue bite video, hoping to have it up this Saturday. We'll see what happens. I promise you I am working on it, and I will have it out soon. All right, so let's see what the tin note is. Well, the tin note by itself is it's interesting in its complexity because you can definitely catch all three of the different components that are married together. That's most likely because of the pressing. If you haven't watched my pressing video, when you press a tobacco, it actually ruptures the cell membrane within the tobacco and causes the inner fluids to disperse throughout the blend. When you do that, the flavors marry, and so do the nuances that come from the bouquet. Within this, I absolutely catch the Latakia right off the top, but it shares its space with the red Virginia and the Perique quite well. That smoky, barbecue-esque, really charred hardwood type aroma from the Latakia, the boggy, mineral type smell from the Perique, and those fruity tones from the red Virginia are all coming through together. But like I said, it's very unique because it's presenting independent, however they are married. So you can pick them out individually, but they're coming together almost like cinnamon raisin bread. You can smell the raisins by themselves, you can smell the cinnamon by itself, but it comes together to give you cinnamon raisin. It's an unusual play on words, but it's definitely coming through married. I get a lot of smokiness and a lot of tartness from the mineral aspect from the Perique, and then the Red Virginia is coming through with a little more of its fruity and floral notes. Let me go ahead and jar this up really quick, get my meerschaum loaded up, and I'll be right back with you. Stick around, everybody. All right, everybody, so I've got the meerschaum loaded up. As with all of my first impressions, I am smoking this out of an AKB meerschaum. This is a Tekken. It is a tomato shape lattice finish. And as you can see here, these are broken flake. Nice color. Beautiful, rich, dark colors throughout. Jar it up in my amber jars. I'm running out of room here. So as we say here on Full Dottle, let's get lit. All right. So this is definitely on the earthy side of the spectrum. Not a lot of sweetness here. However, I do catch a little sweetness from that Red Virginia, and it's going to be a lot like a Brazil nut. It's going to have more of the savory front end, but it does have just a little bit of sweetness in the back. The Latakia is there, but it's not overwhelming. A lot of your Latakia-laden blends are the Latakia is very overwhelming in my opinion. When I say that, I mean that the Latakia plays the dominant role no matter what. But the Latakia in this blend truly is a condiment component. It's sitting on the forefront, but it's not being greedy with its presentation. It is absolutely setting back, complementing the other two components, and it isn't calling all the shots. It's surprising. Catch a lot of that smokiness from the Latakia, that charred hardwood, with that boggy, mineral, earthy tone coming in right with it from the Perique. This is a really well-balanced blend. I can say that right off the bat. This is a very well-balanced blend. The Latakia is perfectly portioned for this blend. It's surprising for a VAPer, in my opinion. The Red Virginias do not offer the tartness that I would expect from a Red Virginia. However, they do come through with that bready note, just a little bit of a light nut, somewhere along the lines of almost like a walnut. It's got just a little bit of that astringent type mouthfeel to it. The Latakia and the Red Virginia play together to offer almost a nutty, woody type flavor profile rather than the tart sweet flavor profile that you would normally associate with a Red Virginia. The Periques are coming through. They're not being overly offensive in how sharp they are to the nostrils, especially on a completely nasal exhale. And the Periques offer on the back end, the best way that I can describe it is if you think of, and this is going to sound almost unpleasant, but it's not. But this is the best way that I can describe it. On the back end, from the Periques, you're catching that boggy mineral tone. And what I mean by that, it almost, if you can imagine a muddy pond water, like if you can imagine a pond that has a lot of rich earth, like composted earth around it, fallen logs, that real rich, muddy, earthy type flavor that you would associate with that type of environment. That's what I catch from the Perique on this. To me, the spice is more subtle rather than overly overt like it would be in the Bayou Morning Flake. Much better. And that Latakia really just kind of allows the Red Virginia to express itself in a different dimension than it normally would. I'm catching a little bit more of the piquancy from it, and it's darkening it. What I mean by that is it's bringing out a little more of a salty, woody, nutty type flavor from the Red Virginias. That smoky barbecue flavor that you normally associate with the Latakia is it's not very strong at all. It's more complementary than it is individual on this. It's not coming through independent as a component. It's coming through and complementing the other two components very nicely. A really good VAPer. Unique in itself so far out of the other ones that I've tried, but a very good VAPer. It's got that astringency like the black walnut, and it's got the mild sweetness and that nutty characteristic like you would find in like a Brazil nut. Well, Marcus, what's up, buddy? You needing some love? I'm not catching hardly any fruit from this. This is not going to be a fruity floral type blend on this one. Let me smoke this down to the halfway point of the bowl. I'll let the pipe rest for 10 minutes. I'll come back to it and I'll give you my final thoughts. Stick around, everybody. Alrighty, everybody. The pipe has rested for 10 minutes. Let's light back up and I'll give you my final thoughts. By the way, if you've stuck around with me this long, do me a favor. Go down there and hit that thumbs up. And also comment anything you like. Put some emojis on there, whatever you like. It helps the algorithm. Helps YouTube to see that I have some engagement with my subscribers, my viewers. Just helps the channel out, and I greatly appreciate it. The woodiness has picked up on this second relight. very woody. Like a very deep charred oak. Not a lot of sweetness. I'm still catching that astringency from the, I'm assuming from the Latakia mixing with the Perique. Not a lot of development. It's really holding true to itself. This blend has a lot of earth, woody, nutty, mineral type flavors. The Red Virginias play way back in the back. There's the flavor profile is married and complementing each other great. But the Red Virginia definitely is playing a supporting role. It's not going to be up in the front. This is more going to be a play between the Red Virginias and the Latakias in the back. Your Perique are not presenting with the spice that you would normally associate with a Perique. Instead, they're giving a lot of that rich earth and mineral type flavor, that bogginess that I was explaining to you earlier. That's going to be on the forefront with a rich, with a deeper charred oak type flavor, that woodiness coming through. It's got an astringent mouthfeel and it's got a rich, thick smoke, but I'm not catching cream like I would expect from the tin description anyway. This one to me is more dry than creamy. Now, maybe they didn't mean it like that in the description, but at any rate, this is going to be an astringent, dry type smoke, but it is going to be a very thick smoke. Very heavy mouthfeel. And every once in a while, those Red Virginias push through with just a tiny, tiny bit of a floral, like a almost like a honeysuckle, very, very faint honeysuckle in the background. Very faint. Mostly it's going to be your more earthy, woody, mineral type flavors, a little nuttiness in there. A great blend though. The flavors are deep enough that I thoroughly enjoy this. The complexity, I think, suffers just a little bit because the Red Virginias simply do not shine through like I would have expected the Red Virginias to. They really are just a little bit muted in the background. However, this is a really good VAPer. I enjoy it. To me, if you like Perique and you like Burleys, I think that you would enjoy this blend. Those Latakias are playing with the Red Virginias, and it's almost like taking the more savory type Latakias with a sweeter, fruity, floral Red Virginia, but when you put them together, it's coming through a little bit more mild, like a mild Burley. However, The Latakia does play through a little stronger and gives you a little bit more of that hardwood, like a charred hardwood and woody type flavor. Great vapor in my opinion. One of the tops in my book. Still on the quest though, I do like my vapors to be more fruity, floral, and creamy. I enjoy those unsweetened black Cavendishes, so the search continues for me to find something that is going to give me the fruitiness, the tartness that I get from my Bayou Morning Flake, but I want the sweetness that I found in the Wintertime Reserve Evergreen that is no longer in production, unfortunately. At any rate, everyone, that is going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to enlist in the Full Dottle platoon. It's easy. Just click the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.